All right, now let's go ahead and connect to the actual database and retrieve contents from it. So if I first go ahead and bash into my container, so let me go ahead and bash into container. So docker and then exec and then -it demo post gress and then /bin / and then bash. Enter. Now if I psql and then -u post gress, you can see that now we are in. If I connect to our database, so amigos code and then demo, enter. Now if I do \d, you can see that we have student right here, so this table. If I select and then start from and then student, you can see that we have 0 students right here. So now let's go ahead and actually connect from our Spring Boot application and retrieve some data. So let me go back to IntelliJ. And the way that we do it is by injecting this class right here. So private final and then JDBC and then template. So this guy right here. So this class allows us to interact to our database. So if I add this to constructor, and now I need to auto wire, so Spring automatically instantiates the JDBC template so that you can use whatever you want. So let's go ahead and auto wire. And now instead of returning this list right here, and also let me go ahead and delete these 2 lines. And instead, let me simply return null for now. Now, let me go ahead and simply say JDBC template dot, and you can see that there are various methods. So the one that I want is one that takes a SQL statement and also takes a row mapper. So let's go ahead and say query. And now let me go ahead and simply pass SQL, and we're going to create this in a second. And then next, you can see that we have a row mapper, so the 3rd row. And the row mapper, so if I press Control and then Enter, you can see that takes a result set and then the actual index. So let me go ahead and use that function. And now, so inside we have to return something. So for now, let's go ahead and simply return null. So you can see that we have an error, and that's because we need to create a string and then call it SQL, and then this will be equal to empty for now. So if I now end this with semicolon as well, you can see that the errors went away. Now I can go ahead and simply say that this will be a list and then of and then student. So this is what we want from our database. So let's go ahead and say students equals to JDBC template.query, the SQL, and then this is how we take the actual plain SQL or the raw data and then transform that into some sort of object. In our case, we want to transform it into a student. So if you have any questions, go ahead and let me know, because I think that is very important that you understand this concept, right? So right here, we are using JDBC template.query. We are passing an SQL statement, so we haven't written this yet. And then this result set, so this function right here, takes a result set and then the index, and then from the actual index, it will return an object that you want from your database. So basically, you are converting the data from the database to some kind of Java object. So it goes like this. So let's say that we have, I don't know, let's go ahead and say we have a student. So student A, and then let's go ahead and say that the name is John. And then we also have student and then B. So let's just imagine that this is the actual ID, right? So actually, so sum and then UID, and this is also sum and then UID, right? And let's say that this is Maria. So basically what this is saying is I'm going to select, so this is the select statement that you have, and the select could be select the UID and name. So let's go ahead and actually define these two columns. So UID, and then this will be name, right? So these are the columns. So we could have a select statement such as select UID and name from and then table, right? So now what this will do will actually loop. So this method right here, it will simply loop through this table, and then it will have access to the result set. So this result set right here will be here. So result set will be here. And then we want to return from that a student. And what we have inside of this result set is the actual information. So we have access to some UID as well as the actual name, right? So then basically we want to return a student that in the constructor we can pass the actual UID. So some and then UID and then the actual name. So John. And then once it does the actual transformation from SQL to some Java object, it will move on to the next line. So then the result set will be here, and then we will simply return the same thing. So we will return that, and this will be some UID, and then the actual name will be Maria, and so on and so forth. So it will carry on. So if you were to do this by yourself, you would use the JDBC driver and then have access to the result set, and then you would advance the result set if there are more items, and so on and so forth. So that's, plain Java. But basically this method right here, JDBC template.query, handles that for us. So all we have to do really is simply pass the SQL statement as well as how we want to transform the data from our database, right, to some kind of Java object. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop me a message. But next, I'm going to show you exactly how this works.